Right as the weekend comes to a close, Konami drops some Silent Hill into our laps. Silent Hill 2 to be specific. We have a brand new story trailer, and the press, I guess, has had the embargo lifted, and they are now going to give us impressions of some gameplay, as well as show us about 30 minutes of unfiltered gameplay. So this particular video is going to be me watching the new story trailer and giving you my thoughts, seeing what you guys think in the comments, and then right after, we'll be watching the IGN 8-minute hands-on preview. After that, I'll do a separate video of me watching with you guys the VGC footage. I have been a lover-hater of Bloober Team all these years. Layers of Fear, the original, remains one of my favorite horror games of all time. And then since then, they've been on this kind of steady decline of games like Blair Witch or The Medium, or even the recent Layers of Fear kind of update, where there are moments of interesting stuff, but they just don't seem to be getting where they need to go, at least for a horror fan like me. So I know from interviews recently, the director is like, look, man, we really want you guys to give us a shot. Well, that's what we're doing right now. Would I rather be sleeping as Sunday rolls to a close? Not when this is out there. I'm excited. Let's jump right in. Let us take a look first at the Silent Hill 2 story trailer that just came out. I'll be watching it from the PlayStation channel. Let's watch this together, shall we, my friends? Hang on, why is that halfway through? I haven't even looked at it yet. All right, this is, let me make sure I'm watching the right one. Yeah, 38 minutes ago. This is the brand new Silent Hill 2 trailer. Here we go. We're off to the races. I'll let you know what I think. You tell me in the comments. Here we go.
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Are you taping again? Come on. I don't know why, but I just love it here. It's so peaceful.
Well, fuck.
In my restless dreams,
That looks beautiful.
I see that town.
That looks fucking beautiful.
You promised you'd
I don't know if
take
it's any
me there
good
again
to play,
someday,
but boy, that looked good.
but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place.
Just put the gun to their head.
You can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you.
Well,
You should see your face, too.
Let go!
I'm sorry, Laura, but I can't let you just run around this place. You might get hurt.
Hurt by what?
that looks like one of the Dakota Fanning girls, or one of the
This
Fanning
place
girls.
is different from what I remember.
One of those kids. Oh, that's cool. Hang on, sorry. Is that a different? It may be. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the lighting. It looks like the reflection of her is different than her. That's kind of cool.
I don't think she's here anymore.
This whole town. Might be best if you just get out of here.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh god,
You
he's
said
on the
you took
toilet. You see, he's
everything.
holding the gross toilet.
You forgot that videotape we made.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
I'm not your what? I'm not your what?
I'm not your Mary.
I'm not your
Aren't you
Mary.
Maria?
Maria is the same thing. Mary and Maria, he just calls her that. I don't know.
I'm not your Mary.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.
How
For the
do you
right
know
price.
about Mary?
You see it too? For me, it's always like this.
Doesn't matter who I am. I am here for you, James. See? I'm real.
I mean, here's what I'll tell you so far. I mean, that's the best trailer that, God, October's going to be nuts for horror. There's this and Slitterhead. I think Slitterhead's October, maybe November. Until Dawn remake. And obviously a bunch of indie stuff coming. But that's the best trailer I've seen them do so far. And I am not, like I said, I've never finished Silent Hill 2. So like this guy, I don't know if this is guy... I don't know if this guy is a thing or not, or he's a new character or what, but he's pretty fucking creepy. I like him.
You should see your face, too.
Yeah, it's cool. I dig it. But again, I don't know what the game is. In fact, let's figure that out right now. But as a trailer, it's pretty good. Yeah, you know, it's got some moments where I'm like, that's interesting. The music's good. The tone's good. Again, I'm coming at it fresh. I'm kind of excited. I don't know what the story is. I know he goes to Silent Hill to find his wife, or girlfriend or whoever that is, but I don't know much beyond that. So I'm excited I get to come in fresh. If I didn't know this was a highly anticipated video game, based on a classic, I would go, well, it looks pretty good. It's the best thing I've seen so far. So now IGN's gone through, they've played about 8 minutes, of it. This went up just now as well. Hands-on preview. Let's see what they have to say.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill.
Ever since the release of the Resident Evil 2 remake,
Hello, I have such a good accent that I have to do it, Dale Driver.
developers have returned to the well en masse to give their classic games a new lease of life, more often than not with mixed results. From what I've seen so far, the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake doesn't come close to hitting the heights of Resident Evil 2, a blueprint for how a great remake is made, but it certainly feels like developer Bloober Team has made a lot of the right decisions when building on the survival horror classic's undeniable legacy.
I mean, what you want to hear right at the beginning, right, is, oh my God, this is the next RE2 remake. But especially with the preview where you're not giving it a review. Okay, well, isn't that terrible? I don't mean to be negative. I'm excited, but, you know, it's not a great way to open a preview after gameplay.
Even if, at times, it feels a little too safe. I played the opening 3 hours of Silent Hill 2, and it was immediately apparent from the off that the remake gracefully captures all the important elements. An oppressive tone and straightforward game mechanics, even when the task itself is being obtuse.
You're obtuse.
As with any Silent Hill game, atmosphere is king, and Silent Hill 2 immediately and
Yeah, it looks
consistently
great.
puts you in a state of unease. A thick fog surrounds the town just like in the original, but now benefits from modern lighting and volume, thanks to today's technical improvements. The streets are now filled with a new level of detail, shops are explorable, and strange sounds.
I was only laughing because it's like, obviously it's because of today's technical improvements, but what if it was more like, the fog's still there, but it benefits now because it looks better because the team actually gave a shit. But I'm just saying. Let's keep going.
Like in the original, but now benefits from modern lighting and volume, thanks to today's technical improvements. The streets are now filled with
Looks
a new level of
great,
detail,
though.
shops
So
are
good.
explorable, and strange sounds, cries, and groans
Games
are
are so
dynamically
beautiful
lurking
these
around
days.
every
I'm
corner.
sorry. I know a lot of y'all like to bang on the visuals these days. It doesn't look next gen. This looks so good.
I can imagine it would have been incredibly tempting to layer music into the Silent Hill 2 remake, bringing the scares more in line with contemporary horror hits. But its slavish resistance is commendable, as the diegetic sounds of Silent Hill are where the game really sings, or rather drones.
So cool.
Every room in the Woodside apartments creates its own version of uneasy tension, subtly assaulting
I mean,
you
they've
with an
got the
oppressive,
sense of
unearthly
being
soundscape
there
of pulses and organic
beautifully
audio.
done, I think. It's gorgeous looking.
From the moment that protagonist James enters Silent Hill, the onslaught of bad vibes is present, and it never lets up for a second.
I'm sorry. It just sounds like instead of saying, he's saying from the moment that protagonist James, but it sounds like he's saying from the moment that protagonist James, you have to be nice to me. It's late. Shut up.
Enter Silent Hill, the
Listen,
onslaught of
maybe
bad
you'll
vibes.
enjoy it now. Listen.
From the moment that protagonist James enters Silent
come
Hill,
on,
the
right?
onslaught of bad vibes is present,
Idiot.
and it never
But I
lets
love
up
you.
for a second. Often fear is driven by anticipation, but Silent Hill 2 is all anticipation, with the sounds of the lying figures and co being ever present. In some ways, it's a difficult state of mind to be locked into.
Oh, that's cool. Creepy. Delightfully creepy. That's cool.
It's fair to say that Silent Hill 2 has stepped up its visual and audio game, but that's to be expected for a 2024 release. The bigger and perhaps more impactful change is perspective, with Silent Hill 2 adopting the trusty over-the-shoulder playstyle that's become a staple of the genre. What could have once been considered sacrilege for the series now serves the
cool.
gameplay
That
well,
looks great,
helping the
man.
unearthly combat encounters
Again,
feel
I know
surprisingly
these
familiar.
creatures-
Like the original, James's arsenal is limited, with the only available weapons in the section that
I assume all of these or most of these creatures were in the original, obviously seen from a different perspective, but that fucking thing, maybe that's in the original. You guys tell me, but that's cool. Look at that
older
fucker.
playstyle that's become a staple of the genre. What could have once been considered sacrilege for the series now serves the gameplay well, helping the unearthly combat encounters feel surprisingly familiar. Like the original, James's arsenal is limited, with the only available weapons in the section that I played being a handgun and his trusty wooden plank.
Yeah, the creatures are cool.
Combat is certainly light and rudimentary, but Silent Hill 2 was never about that. It's serviceable in a way that complements the character's ability, although I imagine it would have been extremely tempting for Bloober Team to strap James up Rambo style, although it would have been a disservice to the character and the story it's telling.
It is nice to see some enemy designs that are not monstery, that, you know, it might have been Bloober Team. Some interview I read recently about horror, they were talking about the character designs being, you want to see humanity in them because that's what makes it creepier, almost surreal, versus like, oh, it's a monster. And all of these so far, these kind of like weird living meat inside this kind of tight bodysuit, but with weird appendages. That's kind of cool, man. I dig that. But that may have been from the original. I don't know.
That's not to say that James doesn't have a new move.
I mean, I
in his
know-
locker, though.
I know
Silent Hill 2
Pyramid Head and the
implements a new
nurses, but
dodge
that's all I
mechanic,
know.
allowing James to quickly dart
that
out
thing
of the
just
way of an
vomit?
enemy's projectile vomit or Pyramid
right.
Head's swinging blade.
Guess
It's
so.
a simple, quick shuffle, not a Dark Souls-like forward roll, but it's a tool that helped me quickly establish a swing, dodge rhythm before the lying figures threw up their guts all over me. Perhaps the biggest compliment I could give is that it's a move that feels like it always should have been in Silent Hill 2. From what I've seen so far, the story is largely faithful, and I visited all the locations I expected to in the first few hours. The opening jaunt through the streets of Silent Hill is expanded though, tasking you to solve a puzzle involving a jukebox, and
Sorry,
forcing you
a
to visit
jukebox?
several of the town's locations.
Well,
Along
watch
the way,
it.
there's plenty to
The
examine
racist
further
IGN.
and marvel at the detail layered into this once sparse location.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like,
While
I definitely...
purists may scoff at this addition,
No,
I feel
I want to be in that world. I think it's, you know, there's like sites where people go around and take pictures of abandoned locations and stuff. There is a great beauty in that, and this, I think, captures that. Like, this looks like a fun place to explore.
like it's a smart move that encourages you to spend a little more time roaming in the iconic foggy streets. And it's certainly a welcome addition before you spend a large
His
portion
run
of the game
cycles
funneled
look
down
goofy,
dark
but whatever.
hallways in a largely linear path. Fans of the original will be happy to hear that the remake doesn't
Sound is
hold back with
really
its
cool.
returning puzzles. Like the original, the remake scales clues based on your difficulty level. But even on the normal difficulty setting, I found some puzzles momentary head scratchers that encouraged me to truly absorb my surroundings, especially after hard switching from my kill everything that moves headspace. Fans of the 2001 classic and the Resident Evil series know exactly what kind of thing to expect, using environmental clues to solve riddles and combinations. But it felt like there was a little less signposting in Silent Hill 2 than in its peers. It's hard for me to quantify this, but all I can say is that my usual urge to brute force the puzzles was quickly replaced by a wish to legitimately solve them. Hopefully
cool.
that speaks to the puzzle's design and not the pressures of the PlayStation environment. Bloober Team's decision making when rebuilding this classic has been clever, but it's not
gorgeous.
perfect. The dialogue and performances still feel a little too campy and silly for my taste, often taking me out of the super serious tone.
No, you shouldn't be here.
Unlike Resident Evil, where the campy nature is a big part of the vibe, Silent Hill in 2024 requires a subtle touch to complement the same masterful approach in atmosphere and sound design. Purists may celebrate its faithful remaking of the original lines, but I felt like there was an opportunity here for some subtle tweaks. I only got a small taste of the dialogue though, and Silent Hill 2 isn't exactly known for long conversations, so perhaps it's not any kind of deal breaker.
You didn't love Mary anyway.
What? Hey, wait!
Another irksome inclusion is the logical but slightly tedious activity of opening countless kitchen cupboards and drawers to collect handgun ammo and healing items, similar in a way to modern games like The Last of Us. It makes sense on paper, organically placing your collectible items in realistic locations, but I can't help feel like it took me out of the atmosphere, altering my thought process from fear to loot every time I entered a new room. Maybe it says more about me than the game, but several times after entering a room,
That is an appreciated and, not to sound elitist and snobbish, but kind of I don't hear a lot of mainstream gaming press talk about that level of just the gameplay mentality that you're experiencing, and the fact that he's talking about that's a really good observation, that it's like you come into a room and the very nature of your being trained by the design, which is I need to loot everything in order to survive, it does pull you out of horror, and it almost becomes like you're doing a checklist of things every time you enter a room, and that becomes your dominant thought and not staying immersed. I love that comment. I think it's very smart. It makes a lot of sense.
I was jumped on by a hidden mannequin because I had prioritized several to loot every time I entered a new room. Maybe it says more about me than the game, but several times after entering a room, I was jumped on by a hidden mannequin because I had prioritized scouring for pickups instead of enemies. Disappointingly, from what I've seen so far of Silent Hill 2, it doesn't appear to incorporate my favorite feature the best remakes tend to have: taking your expectations based on what you know about the original and subverting them. 2002's Resident Evil remake, which played around with the...
That may be why I'm enjoying this so much more, because I don't have a lot of expectations, because I haven't played much of Silent Hill 2. And so for me, it's all new. But yeah, it's interesting to see if there's a difference between the response to this footage from, kind of newish fans like me and old school fans.
Dogs jumping through the window jump scare that all fans expected is the perfect example of how this can be expertly crafted. The approach allows for tension of a fake out and the creative space to drop new scares in where you least expect it. The Silent Hill 2 remake doesn't appear to have any real moments like that, and ultimately, no real big swings that change the landscape for hardcore fans. At least not what I saw in the opening 3 hours. As a remake, Silent Hill 2 falls more in line with Bluepoint's faithful Shadow of the Colossus rather than Capcom's rejuvenated Resident Evil 2. It substitutes bold new swings for a slavish dedication to the original, which by no means is a bad thing, just not the radical steps some might expect. Silent Hill 2 certainly needed a fresh coat of paint and a tune of the engine, and Bloober Team has provided that in spades. But everything else is an extremely faithful reimagining that mostly resists the urge to alter the successful formula of a stone cold classic. And if you like that video and you want to find out more about Silent Hill 2, then be sure to stick with IGN.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not now. This isn't new. This one, I think that's old, right? Yeah, it's from a year ago. I don't know, man. I'll be very curious to see what y'all think after you've been able to play it. Only because I'm like, yeah, I have no frame of reference like these guys do. So to me, it just looks really fucking cool. And all of this. Their story trailer and this walkthrough is definitely the best stuff I've seen that they've shown. Now, like I said, there is a 30-minute, which I'm not going to watch right now in this video, but VGC went through and played for 30 minutes, or they probably played longer, but they have it up on the internet, on YouTube. And so I'll be watching that later. If I can find it. I know I saw it sometime tonight. Oh, here we go. Is this new? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So there's actually a bunch of stuff, but here it is right here. Here's the VGC gameplay, which is like 27 minutes long. So I'm going to scrub through it, but I'll be watching it later. Maybe I'll make a video, like I said. But for now, I'm going to go to sleep, and I've been having a lot of cool lucid dreams lately. So hopefully I'll be able to take myself into Silent Hill and play my own version of it. But this is cool, man. I'm excited to see this. What a great way to cap off the weekend. I hope you've been well. Hope your weekend was great. Don't forget, busy week coming up for games here on the show. We've obviously got Wukong coming out Tuesday. We'll be streaming that Tuesday night. We got Jeff Keighley's Gamescom opening coming up on Tuesday at 11, I think. Gabbinandgames coming up tomorrow. And if you watch this before tomorrow morning, I'll be on California time, 9 a.m. on Reforged Gaming talking about Concord, which also comes out this Tuesday. I hope you're well. Be safe. And all that good stuff. I'll see you guys. Bye.